So this video is around burnout. Now, I'm a business owner. I had lots of things I was juggling and I was burnt out for so long and I could not get rid of this all-pervasive tiredness that sleep wouldn't fix, that resting didn't seem to do anything about, until I met Jules and she shared the real reason that burnout isn't what you think it is.
Right.
And when I saw what it actually was and the root cause of it, that is when my burnout went. So we wanted to do a video specifically about this because this has been so helpful, not just for me, but our clients as well, to get out of burnout.
What I would like to do is just briefly talk about my experience with what I thought burnout was. It's interesting because I wasn't working 60 hours a week when I was experiencing my burnout. However, significant occurrence happened. I had 3 losses. I lost my fiance, my dad, and my godfather, all like within 10 months. I did not know what that does to my physiological state at that moment. And so that is when my burnout symptoms occurred.
When you say burnout symptoms, it's like overwhelming tiredness, it's overwhelm, it's stress, it's like feel like you've been drained of all energy, it's foggy mindedness. There's lots of symptoms to burnout, but that's kind of what we're talking about.
Right, it's a heaviness. There's a heaviness there that rest just doesn't help. And what that is a physiological state of immobilization.
You're shut down, you find it really difficult to get out of bed. People think that you're lazy, but you're not. And this is a really important point. If your body is in shutdown, it's going to look like you're unproductive and lazy, but it is your body actually trying to protect you anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. So my nervous system had a shock to the system. My capacity to move throughout the physical world was diminished. Because I remember I took time off of work after that. And what I noticed is I would be curled up in bed, and then I would have a little bit of an idea or energy to go over into the kitchen and maybe do some sort of cleaning up. And there were a little bit more dishes than the capacity of my nervous system could handle.
Yeah.
And then I turned around and went back to bed and curled up in bed again. And I know that you've experienced that too.
I like that you said it was too much for my nervous system to handle.
Yeah.
Because when your nervous system is in a state of shutdown, it can only handle so much.
Right.
And if the thing in the world is too much, you will just go straight back to bed.
Right.
I have to say, if that is you, or if you've experienced that, you're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
You're not broken. You can't help it in that moment. It's okay to be human, but we're going to talk a bit anyway. Keep going.
Yeah. So it was too much of... my nervous system didn't have the capacity to handle that. And so, but at that time, I believed I was lazy, I was unclean, I couldn't clean my house. All of these cognitive-centric ideas that I had about myself. But that isn't the case. We are nature in human form. And this is the intelligence of nature running through us. And with this intelligence, it is down cycling the capacity, or it's down regulating into that of rest. It's the wisdom of the intelligence telling us that we need health, growth, and restoration. We need to rest. We need to slow down.
Yeah, as a metaphor, I used to be an arboriculturalist, which means the care and preservation of trees for amenity purposes. Now, oak trees, right, when there's a drought and the water table is low, they will literally kill off part of their limbs because they can't sustain their full crown. They will stop growing. That's why in the rings, sometimes the rings are really close together as opposed to wider, because they're having to limit their growth. Now, if you've been working for years or decades, you've got kids, you've got commitments, you do long hours, if there's a lot going on for a long period of time, you have burnt through so much of your vital energy. We're not just cognitive physical beings, we're biochemical electromagnetic beings.
Biochemical electromagnetic plasma-like beings.
And when the energy gets so exhausted, for your safety, for your survival, okay, your physiological state will make you tired on purpose to try and reserve that energy. And it may mean that you can't work anymore. It may mean that you have to keep saying no. But the universe will throw things in your path for you to change, to become the kind of person who can say no,
Yeah.
to become the kind of person who can start cultivating and reserving their energy.
Beautiful point, Rudy. Yeah.
So it's bigger than just us. And I know for me, I had the most crippling burnout for so long. And you know when it shifted? When I learned to say no, when I stopped being a people pleaser, when I stopped putting everybody else in front of my own well-being, when I stopped trying to be the big tower of strength for everybody, that was killing me.
Yeah.
When all those patterns came up because of my burnout, okay, and in that recreation of me, I no longer have burnout because I no longer do those things. So in a broader perspective, the burnout was a teaching tool that I needed to become the kind of person I need to be, not to be burnt out. So if you're overwhelmed, if you're exhausted, if you struggle to get out of bed, if your lust to life is starting to dwindle, maybe your body is trying to tell you something. Okay? You're not doing anything wrong. Your physiology isn't doing anything wrong. Your physiology is trying to protect you.
So it's always in service of survival. It's always the intelligent life force flowing through us. It knows what it's doing.
Also, guys, it's worth mentioning that we have recorded a course specifically around this with loads of tips and practice to help burnout, to help stress, to get your energy levels back, meditations, breath work. It's all completely free and the link is below. And also in that free course is your safety sandwich PDF.
Yes.
Could you talk a bit about that so these guys could get help right now?
Absolutely. Yes. So it's exactly what it sounds. It's a little sandwich that I create with my students and clients in service of safety and in service of healing. And so it's a little PDF. It tells you exactly what to do, why it works, and the science that grounds it. And that's that. Yeah. And if you have any questions regarding that, leave a comment on our video below. We will always get back to all of our comments.
Okay, so what you taught me about what burnout actually is, rather than what the mainstream thinks it is, could you explain to these guys, well, what is burnout? Because it's going to be really helpful for people who are suffering with that.
Well, it's your body conserving its energy. So it's your body. We have these three broad states. There's another video that we will go into it, but this one is the physiological state of immobilization. And it's immobilization with fear, and that's how we describe it. You've heard of the term burning your candle at both ends. It's kind of what happens when our body is in a chronic threat response. It's chronically in high alert. And, we're on the go, pleasing this person, choosing that person, choosing this person, but forgetting ourselves. So our body's going to naturally downshift into something called immobilization. It's going to downshift into immobilization, and I call it with fear. So it isn't a pleasant, I'm going to take a nap, or rest. It's something that's really quite physically painful for me anyway. And the thought process that goes along with it is, I give up. I can't do this anymore.
It's hopeless.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be this way. It's kind of and that's the flavor of language that comes with burnout, comes with immobilization, with fear. And so that's how we can recognize it. But again, it's a physiological state. It's in service of survival. It's in service of conserving your energy. It's intelligent, and it's how we survive. It is how we survive as a human species, is having the capacity, our nervous system having the capacity to conserve energy like that. So there isn't anything wrong with that. But the more we understand, the more we can nurture ourselves back into health, growth, and restoration.
Also, another thing to mention, my burnout, which is really immobilization, like sometimes that can be an after effect of habitual patterns we've got from a trauma or an ongoing trauma. And we're not going to talk what we mean by that now, but the next video specifically looks at trauma and how that can be a huge contributor to being in what you would define as burnout or immobilization. So go to that video because we're going to really unpack that there. Okay guys, like and subscribe. The free products, we can go deeper into this, is in the description below, and we will see you on the next video. Bye for now.
Bye.